Hello and welcome to the Crochet Luna Vlogcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from the San Diego area in Southern California. This is Season 5, Episode 1, and I'm calling it Happy Crafting New Year because, as we all know, September is the start of our crafting new year, right? Of our crafting year. This is when we gear up to make all the things for the cold weather, for the Christmas gifts, for the everything. So I'm really happy to be back after taking some time off. Much needed time off. I think going forward, I will be taking probably most of the summer off. I have found that it was a much needed break from just about everything, including social media, recording the Vlogcast. What else? Let's see, even crocheting. I really didn't get that much done, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay to take breaks. I think having taken the time off, I've reworked some things in my head, and I'm really happy to be back. So welcome to all my subscribers and to any new viewers. This is a crochet, knitting friendly, sewing friendly podcast, vlogcast, as I like to call it. And so I usually start with a health update. The health has been okay, actually. It's been up and down, but I've been in a better spot health-wise to start playing tennis again. So for all of those of you who are new to my channel and don't know too much about me, I have been playing tennis since I was 12 years old. So tennis has been a huge part of my life. I did not play college tennis, but I did play some tournaments and some team tennis, which I was really always so happy to play. They were a lot of fun, a lot of travel, but it was a lot of fun. So tennis has always been a part of my life. It's a part of my mom's life. She and I played doubles together for a little bit. My mom turned 70 this year and she's still playing tennis. She's also an avid golfer. And so we have always had this connection with tennis. But when I got sick with rheumatoid arthritis in my early 20s, I was actually playing like 6 days a week. I was playing tournaments. I was playing competitive tennis. And that kind of stopped for about a year because my health was just so out of control with the arthritis. I was able to get on some really good medication, went back to playing tennis. So throughout my life, I've had these really long breaks in between when I get off the court thinking this is probably the last time I'll ever, hold a racket, and then thinking, I think I could do this. I think I can get back on the court. So this last break was 7 years. So it's been 7 years since I'd held a racket, got on a court, and hit some tennis balls. But one of the goals for 2021 was to get back on the court in whatever capacity that I could. And so I just kind of went for it, and I signed up for this class at my local park. And actually I'd taken some of those classes before. They're not really classes for me. It's just a place for me to find people to hit with. And so I got on the court, and it was like, I always say, you can put me on a tennis court anywhere on this planet and it's like home. I feel so comfortable on a tennis court. I feel so good having a racket in my hand. And, you know, when you learn a sport early on, when you're young, no matter what it is, there's a kind of muscle memory that, you know, you develop. Kind of like riding a bike, right? A lot of us learn how to ride a bike when we're young, and then you might not ride your bike for years, and then you get back on the bike and you're like, oh my gosh, I could still ride a bike. It's the same thing for tennis, right? If for me, having learned to play when I was so young, I was actually a little bit younger than 12. I think I started hitting a ball when I was like 8 against like a wall, just back and forth, you know. But it's just amazing to me that after taking a 7-year break, I think maybe once or twice in those 7 years, I got to hit a couple tennis balls because we used to get together at this park for birthday parties, and there was a tennis court, and I would bring tons of rackets, and all the kids would hit, and I would get to hit a couple balls, but it was nothing serious. But it was amazing to me to get on this tennis court after so long and be able to hit the ball and still have that muscle memory kick in and feel comfortable. And I'm not going to lie, I'm completely out of shape. And at one point I said to someone, wow, I think I'm having a heart attack. It was so ridiculously hard on my body to run around. And I've known that I've been out of shape for quite some time, but I've never... I've never felt so out of shape, and it was a lot of fun to play. And I will be honest with you, I got a little bit of a kick when I walked into the class like a little bit late, and he said to me, the coach, which I knew, but he didn't remember me because it's been so long. He said, "Have you ever played tennis? Are you a beginner?" And I said, "Not quite." And, you know, you are doing these drills. And then I got up to do the drill, and he was like, oh, yeah, like, I remember you. It was just a lot of fun. So when I pop in and out of those classes, I've been going for the last, I don't know, 2-3 months, I guess. I don't know. Whenever I started, I posted about it on Instagram the first time when I went. And when I got back on the court, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to be able to do something that I've been just yearning to do. You know, when you play a sport for most of your life, it becomes part of who you are. And 7 years ago, when I had to put my rackets down, and I said to myself, this is probably the last day I play tennis, I said, this is probably the last time I'm going to hit a ball. I'm going to play tennis, because it was just so excruciatingly painful to do every aspect of it. You know, every time I would hit a ball, it just hurt so much. And I thought, this is it. This is the last time I'm going to get on a tennis court. And it was really, really hard for me to deal with. It was really hard for me to let that go, because it was like letting go of something that made up who I am, you know, makes up who I am, is being able to do this. You know, I was a good tennis player. I still think I am a good tennis player in my head. But yeah, I spent so much time on the court that when I had to let that go, it was really, really hard. But I won't keep going on about that, because if you're here for some crochet, and I do have crochet, and I have some other good stuff to talk about. But yeah, so I've gone back to playing tennis, and I've gone back to a little bit of a workout routine, because I realized that no matter what, I do need to get a little bit better conditioning. It's just better for my joints. I've dropped a couple pounds, which is good, but I really don't even care about that as much as I care about the fact that it's not so excruciating now to run around the court. I've actually started hiking, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. So I'm much more active, and my body is definitely thanking me, and also telling me, like, I think sometimes I feel like my body is like, what the heck are you doing? It's like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, hiking for an hour? But yeah, it's been a good summer. I got to go strawberry picking with my mom and my cousin and our kids, and then I took some time and went to Montana. I went on a retreat with some lovely people in Montana, and then I just got back a couple weeks ago from Boston. I was in Boston for 9 days, working at Lady Di Yarn Studio. So yeah, it's been a really, really shockingly busy summer for me, and none of it had to do with crafting or crochet. Um, the Montana trip did have a little bit to do with crochet, but for the most part, I've kind of like taken a step back from it, and I really feel sometimes you've got to do that. And I don't know. I guess those are my thoughts about that. And I'm just really happy to be back to recording and to be talking about some yarny goodness. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to start off by doing a little housekeeping. And I wanted to talk about the Dodgy Bag Mail that I co-hosted with Allie. We have been doing it for like 3 years now, I think. And we're definitely signed up for next year, so hopefully you guys will join. Originally, I was only going to pick 2 winners from Instagram, which I already did. I basically did it the same week we ended the mail, and those prizes have shipped. But I did get a question about the Ravelry Group. My Ravelry Group actually is decommissioned. That's what I'm calling it. I am no longer active on Ravelry. But Allie did host both the FO and the chatter thread on her Ravelry group. I would go in there. I popped in there a couple times. And I decided that I was going to give a prize out to somebody from Ravelry. That person is Jill Porin. I think I've said your name right. I'll put it right here. I've already contacted Jill, and I will be shipping out her prize. Part of her prize will be this pattern to make these bags. I'm going to be making this bag this week. So hopefully by the next episode, I will show it to you. She'll get this pattern, and she's going to get this super cute bee fabric. It's actually a really soft fabric. It's not cotton. It's like a fleecy fabric, but I've made bags with this before, and you can totally make them, and they make the nicest bags because they are super, super soft. I'm going to include a couple other goodies, and I'm going to get that out to you, Jill, this week. The other Mal is the Summer of Romance Cal, which I have co-hosted with Clarissa Beth. Gosh, I think we've done it for 4 years. And I realized that part of the lack of participation, I think, in some of the cows that I've co-hosted is because I am not very actively engaging with you guys. And I think one of the reasons I had said in the last episode of the Vlogcast was that I was only going to do 2 alongs, basically, which was Dodgy Bag and Some More Romance, is because those are the 2 that I really have felt very tied, have really good ties to because of how long we've been doing it, the level of participation, my co-hosts. And going forward, I still want to keep doing that. But I realize that there's been a lack of engagement on my part with you guys who have participated, and I do apologize for that. Like I said, I had not planned to take the summer off, but it just worked out the way that it did, and I just went with it. So I did look at the hashtag for Summer of Romance, and I do have a winner. The winner is, I'll put her Instagram name because we only ran it on Instagram this time. And so I have contacted them to see, to let them know that they've won, and what they've won is 3 patterns of their choice from Ravelry. I mean, I still feel like I don't want to not support the designers who are selling patterns on Ravelry. It's just that I have found that I just don't have the time dedicated to engage with the group that I had started. And I'm just trying to find a way, and I'm still thinking about how to do that, how to best engage with you guys. And I was finding that Ravelry was not working out for me. And that's one of the reasons I decommissioned the group. I just do not have the time to moderate it. I also saw a couple times people open threads on my Ravelry group, and it wasn't that it was never communicated to me that they were opening these threads, and so I didn't feel comfortable with that at all. Actually, I thought that's not something that I want to have. Not that I would care that somebody would say to me, "Hey, can I open a thread on your Ravelry group because I want to discuss these things?" It was just, they just popped up, and I felt like I didn't have control over that. So that, and among other things, are the reasons why I closed it. So, wow, I am super chatty today. So that is the reason why I'm still supporting designers selling their patterns on Ravelry. A lot of designers also have opted to not sell their patterns on Ravelry, and they either have them on their own website or another platform. If there is a designer that has those other options and the person would like to have the pattern from those different platforms, I would be happy to accommodate that as well. So let's see. No more cows for the rest of the year. There's so many cows going on. I feel like if you want to find a crochet along, they are out there. I think that especially in the fall, there's a lot of, cows that people launch to promote, different things. I know October is coming up. I know Stocktober is one of the things that people like to get involved in. So I'm sure there'll be some sock cows if you're interested in doing that. I just will not be running any more alongs for the rest of the year. Moving on, let's see. I have notes. I usually take notes when I record, and this is no different, but I just have a lot of messy writing on my notes right now. All right, so let's get to the crochet. I have a new design. I have a new design, but I haven't written the pattern yet. And I'm really super, 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 super excited about it. It's called Descanso. Descanso means rest in Spanish. One of the reasons I created this design was because there came a point in the last several months where I really missed the action of crocheting, the process of crocheting. I've always said I'm more process oriented than product oriented. But every time I would sit down to work a pattern, it was like hitting up against a wall. I wanted something that was not super complicated, but yet wasn't just a bunch of like double crochets or half double crochets. I wanted something that was interesting, but yet not difficult to remember. And I wanted it to be something that could be done with a one skein of DK yarn or worsted weight or whatever was on hand, nothing too complicated. So I started playing around with some stitches, and I started playing around with some Luna yarn because I've been wanting to use my yarn for a while now. And I came up with a design for a cow. This is the cow. Not cow, Claudia. Cow. A cow. English is a very difficult language. There's so many sounds that sound the same. Sometimes in English the words are spelled so differently but yet will sound the same, or they'll be very just slight, like a cow. You know, when we say crochet on a cow, and then I'm talking about a cowl, right? It almost sounds the same. Anyway, this is the cowl that I designed, and I'm really, really happy with the way it came out. It has, you know, texture, which I wanted, and it has, I don't know how to say it, but it's sort of like, and I don't know if you can see it on screen, maybe on the side. It has this like flat, but then it comes out and then it becomes flat again. Sort of like this rhythm, like a wave, which I really liked. This is the one that has three repeats of the pattern, but I also did one in a Cascade 220 that I think shows more of that wave pattern that I was trying to tell you. I ended up with 18 grams left of the 100 grams that come in this ball of yarn. It's 220 yards for 100 grams. The one that I did with Luna Yarns is more of a DK weight yarn, and I ended up with 32 grams left of the 100 gram balls that I used. So that is Descanso. I mean, I can put it on. It's so hot, you guys. It is so hot right now. But I will put this on so you can see what it looks like. It's a snug fitting cowl, but you could definitely make it a little bit, you can add stitches to it and make it a little bit wider if you don't like something this snug. I actually like my cowls to be snug, and I just really like the way this looks, but I'm going to start sweating if I don't take it off. I can try on this other version too, so that you can see what it looks like. This is the longer version of it. I really like this color. So yeah, look for this pattern to come out probably by the end of October, because I started writing it, and I need to take photographs and I need to get it tech edited. If you would like to test the pattern, you can let me know. Just shoot me an email at crochetluna.claudia@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. You can just send me an email, and as soon as I get the pattern written up, I'll send it to you, and then you can test it for me. My next finished project is my Summer of Romance project that I did. So I didn't even did I talk about who I picked for Summer of Romance? I don't think I talked about any of the details of my Summer of Romance project. I chose Beetlejuice as my paranormal couple. Originally, I was going to do Barbara and Adam inspired piece, but I ended up doing something a little bit different. I was playing around with this online software that I found, or it's a website. It's called Tin Eye, and I'll put the link down below if you want to try what I did. Then I took a photograph of the Beetlejuice poster, and I ran it through their website so that it would break out the different colors of the poster. It looks something like this. So I put this picture into the website. You just drop it in. It's a drag drop thing. And then it breaks down all the colors in terms of how much of it appears in the image. and you also get a breakdown over here. I was going to use this photo as my inspiration, and I was going to focus on this color scheme right there. But then when I saw the poster, I really just liked the way that it looked. So I ran it through Tin Eye. I saw these colors. I saw this little breakdown of the colors. I went stash diving and I found a skein of yarn that I thought paired up very well with the color breakdown, and it's this one right here. I don't know if you can see all the different colors, but I thought it was perfect. And this was dyed by a friend of mine. I don't think she's dyeing yarn anymore. Her shop was called Coffee Yarn Shop on Etsy. And so I thought, you know, I went looking for so many patterns. I honestly, it was frustrating because none of the patterns that I tried, and I bought some, really felt right for this kind of yarn. And I kept thinking, well, why am I struggling so much? I've been struggling all year with using hand-dyed yarn that's not tonal. And I realized part of the reason is that, you know, when you have hand-dyed yarn and it's got so many different colors, don't even bother trying to do a lace pattern. It will just disappear. But then I didn't want a typical crochet stitch that goes back and forth, because what ends up happening is you end up with these very noticeable lines, and I'll show you what I mean. I did a swatch, and you know, these are just half double crochets down here, and then I have some double crochets up here. But you can see that there is this, let's see if I can put it close. You can see that there's these lines that you pick up every time you go back and forth in crochet. And in double crochet, it's the same thing. So I was looking at a stitch dictionary that I have, and I found a stitch that I thought showcased the yarn and not so much the stitch pattern or had those lines like I showed you. And so I came up with this. This is simply a double crochet and a single crochet next to each other. And what you see is you don't get any lines. There are no lines, no back and forth lines like you would do, like you get on the swatch. I don't know how I can show you that, but you see the lines that I'm talking about right here? You just don't get that with this stitch pattern. So all I did is I did 56 stitches across is all it is, back and forth, and to the length that I wanted. Then I turned it on its side, and I just put a little front post, back post border. Again, you don't even, it gets lost, right? You don't even see it because of the different colors in the yarn, but it still looks pretty up close. You can still see it. And I just did that all the way around the infinity scarf. You know, I put the two ends together, and I don't know, I think I just slip stitched it together, and I came up with this. Now, this is going to be a free pattern available for everyone. I'm working on getting my blog up. So this will be the first blog post is going to be this free pattern. So that if you have, you know, I had 2 skeins of this yarn, and it was just, you know, so perfect, I thought, for Summer of Romance. But I was getting so frustrated because I did not want to see these back and forth lines that you see here. And this stitch that I found is absolutely perfect. This is going to be my first blog post on my blog. It's going to be a free pattern. But I will tell you right now, I am not really looking to run a blog of free patterns. I have other ideas for my website and my blog. And so I just thought this was such a great way to use hand-dyed yarn that has a lot of color that I wanted to share that with you. And it's just going to be a free pattern for you to use. It's very simple. So for my work in progress, I'm going to tell you a little story. I got the chance to spend Mother's Day with my good friend Zelda, who is Zelda and RJ3 on YouTube. And she and I went to eat some pupusas, which is a Salvadorian food, which is basically like a stuffed tortilla, stuffed with all kinds of goodness and deliciousness. So we got to eat pupusas, and then we went to visit Kat at the Little Knittery. And so she always has some beautiful yarn. It's a cute shop in I believe it's Los Feliz, Los Angeles. It's in LA. And I saw a scarf that she had on display. She had just got this huge shipment of Noro yarn, and she had this beautiful scarf on display. And I said, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. But it looked, to me, being a non-knitter, it looks really complicated. And she goes, you know, it's actually not very difficult. And it was in this issue of Noro magazine. And it's this scarf right here. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just loved it. It just something about it really called to me. I love the colors, and I love the way that the stitch looked with the little holes. And so I bought the magazine, and I bought the yarn, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure this out. So this is my work in progress. It's living in my Beetlejuice bag. This is actually where I had my summer romance project, and it's by Jennifer of Utterly Adorable. Here's her card. Utterly Adorable. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, Jennifer does really beautiful project bags. This one is a nice size. I think this is her medium bag, and it's actually very big. So I bought the ball of Noro. Isn't that pretty? And I started knitting the scarf. I think this is the front of it. Yep. So yeah, this is what I have so far. Oh my gosh. There goes my yarn ball. This is what I have so far. And I'm really happy with it. This is the front. I really especially love these hot pinks into the soft pink. It's just really nice to see which colors are coming up next. It's not a difficult pattern. I'm learning, as with every project that I knit, I learn something new. And this project, what it taught me was to feel really comfortable with getting the stitches off the needle, frogging, and putting them back on the needle. So that's one of the things that I have picked up. Camera is moving. That's one of the things that I have picked up with this knitting project, is to feel comfortable doing that, and not caring so much about when I've made mistakes. What I also learned is that, unlike crochet, if you are missing a stitch in knitting, you can't just pop it in anywhere. Because I tried that, it didn't work. There is a way to add stitches to the end of knitting if you're missing a stitch, but not like smack in the middle of it. Like, in crochet, you just throw another stitch in the same place and you're fine. Not so much in knitting, unless somebody could tell me otherwise. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's got really pretty texture. Yeah, see, some of my holes are bigger than others, but who cares? I mean, no one's going to be looking that close. But yeah, it's been fun. That's my work in progress. And then for my soon-to-be project. Let me stop right here for a second. My last episode, I talked about 2 projects. One was a really pretty color sweater with different colors on it. I forgot the name of it. And then I had this beautiful green scarf by Mary Renji. And I was really making good progress on it. I think this is called Spring Leaves. It's this one right here. The yarn is not showing up. It's actually a very fluorescent green. It's a beautiful yarn with this beautiful leaf pattern on the side. I bought a second skein of this yarn and I've lost it. The reason I've lost it is because I'm turning my whole workroom upside down and inside out and rearranging it. And I started the process back in May. So back in May, I started moving things around here in my crochet corner. And I actually have misplaced both the sweater, and the yarn to finish this project. So as soon as I find that other skein, which is somewhere in this mess, I will be finishing that, because that was such a quick project. I was just going back and forth, and it was so nice. And what I'm afraid of is that the tension's going to be really different, because that's something that I deal with, that if I put a project down for too long, the tension's always super off because of my hands. But hopefully it won't be that far off. I'll find a skein and I'll be able to finish that scarf. And hopefully the sweater too, because I had the whole front panel of that sweater done, and I was working on the ribbing for the back part of it, and now I can't find anything. I don't know. Maybe the crochet fairy came, took it away, and it's gonna bring it back as a finished object. That's what I'm hoping for. I wanted to talk to you about my project queue. These are projects that I am planning to work on soon. And the first one is actually a pattern that I've shown previously on the Vlogcast. It's for a sweater, and it's called the Rock and Roll Cardigan. Because you guys know I'm such a rock and roller, right? Anyway, I saw this pattern and I really loved the texture on the sleeves, and I just liked the way this looked. So this is the Rock and Roll Cardigan by Beauty Crochet Pattern. Beauty Crochet Pattern. Again, I will link all that information down below on the description box. So this pattern calls for worsted weight yarn, and I purchased some a while ago with this pattern in mind from Knit Picks, and it is the Mighty Stitch yarn. It's worsted weight, 200 yards per 100 grams, and it's in this navy blue color. It's really pretty. One of the things I'm really looking forward to is using my red tulip hook. I just recently purchased several of these red hooks, and one of the things I think will be great is, since I'm using such a dark yarn, is to be able to use this red hook to really see what the heck I'm doing when I'm crocheting this pattern. I have been a big fan of tulip for a long time. It's my preferred crochet hook. I have a whole set of the gray hooks, but when I saw these red ones pop up, I just thought I wanted to try them. There's a really nice set on Amazon that comes with a hook, like a little like a hook roll, but the problem with that set for me is that the hooks that come with that particular set are on the smaller end. I think it comes, I believe it starts like a 2mm hook, maybe 2.25. Don't quote me on that. You can easily search it on Amazon. And I just thought I just couldn't justify paying the price of that set when in fact what I really wanted was certain sizes. So I got a 3mm. This is the 4.5mm hook. I got a 3mm hook, a 4, a 4.5, and a 5 is what I got. So that's gonna comprise my red hook collection for right now. And like I said, I am really looking forward to using it with that blue yarn. The project bag for this project is this really pretty, beautiful project bag by Tanny Casey. If you're not familiar with her work, she does a lot of these really beautiful floral bags. She does a lot of really beautiful bags. She's a great bag maker. We have used her for some of the kits for Lady Di Yarns, and I've always been really, really impressed with her quality. This bag is just absolutely beautiful. So that's where my rock and roll cardigan is going to live. The next project I want to talk to you about is a beanie by Cerulean Orchid. This is a pattern that's part of a series of patterns that were released as a bundle at the beginning of the year. It's for her Crown series. I spoke to you guys about that a little while ago. Cerulean Orchid is a crochet designer. Her name is Jinan Athow, and I've met Jinan a couple times. She's a really, really lovely person, and she's a really great crochet designer. She designs some of the most beautiful crochet patterns, and they are written well. They're all, I would say, they all have a lot of texture to them, which I really love. And I'm a huge fan of Jinan's work. She actually, like I was saying, put out this collection called The Crown, and it was at $60 to sign up, and you get 3 patterns every quarter. So you basically get a year's worth of pattern released every quarter, and it comes out to like $5 a hat for the series. And I have shown you one of the ones that I've done. It's called the Dash Beanie. Like I said, her patterns are well known to have this beautiful texture. And I actually bought the yarn that was recommended for the pattern. And the dyer is Boss Kitty Knit. She's got a great label. So I've shown this before, but this is my Dash Beanie. It's got a lot of really wonderful texture. It's one of my favorite hats. I really, really enjoyed working this pattern. I would say her patterns, especially the ones like this, are more an intermediate level. You do have to pay attention, but they are always a real fun thing to crochet. I will show you just so you get a glimpse of what the other patterns look like in the collection so far. So these are 2 other beanies. This is the Fortified Beanie. I don't know if it's going to focus, but if you jump on the Cerulean Orchid website, which I will link below, you can see these patterns more up close. The next series of patterns for hats are again filled with a lot of texture. Here's the other one. She uses a diverse, her models they're always different. She has a really beautiful diversity about her models that she uses on the website and in her actual patterns. This is another one. Again, it's a little dark, but look how pretty that is. I am currently working on this one right here, which is the Citrus Grove Beanie. It's really pretty. And I'm using a yarn. I'm not 100% happy with this yarn color choice, but we're going to go with it. I've had it in stash a very, very long time. It's from Biscotti Yarns. This is a Canadian company. And it's a colorway. I don't know. I don't know what the colorway name is. But it looks like this. Oops. It's a lot more pastel-y in person, and that's, I think, what I am not liking about the yarn. It looks way better on camera. It's a little washed out in person, and I'm just gonna keep going with it. If I don't like it, I'll gift the hat. But yes, but the patterns that she does, and the other crochet, she's got shawls. I've done some of her mittens. I've done another hat that I don't have here with me. Just, I can't recommend her stuff enough. And recently I purchased her kit for the Seafarer collection. It's a sea inspired collection, which the way they put it together was so lovely. You basically, you purchase the kit, and then they asked you a series of questions about the colors you like and things like that. Your answers to those questions determine the kind of kit that you got. I received my kit and I am really pleased with it. The yarn is by Totally Rad Yarn. It's this beautiful blues and green. And then you got this beautiful enamel pin. If you go on Cerulean Orchid's website, you will get a really good look at the pin. It actually has crochet hooks for the sails up here, and like knitting needles as well. So let me see if I can get that close so that you can see the pin. It's a beautiful pin. It's got a glittery background. You also got a couple stickers. Here's one. And then here's the other one. I thought she was so cute. And you also got 4 patterns with this kit. 4 patterns. I wanted to talk to you about a couple trips that I took this summer, or the most recent one being the one in Boston. I went to Montana and I stayed at this amazing place called Dancing Spirit Ranch, and I got to just kind of like chill for 4 days, and I started my Beetlejuice, my summer romance scarf. I started there. I basically crocheted and ate amazing vegan food for 4 days. So while I was in Montana, I got to go on this amazing hike that I was definitely not prepared for. But I came back with wanting to do a little bit more of that. So I've gone on 2 additional little hikes here in my hometown, and it's been great. It's been really, really nice to get out there and be amongst nature as much as I can deal with it. So that's something new that I've added. And then I got to go to Boston and work with Diane of Lady Di Yarns in her Boston studio. One of the side trips that I did take is I did visit a yarn shop. It's Gather Here, and it's a beautiful place. They have everything, including sewing classes. They have a sewing studio. They have a quilting studio there where you can, I guess, bring your quilt and they'll finish it for you. They have really a beautiful selection of fabrics, and they have everything. They have knitting, they have crochet, felting. They just have a little bit of everything. And one of the things that I was really happy to find was a pattern that I've been for years wanting to buy, and it's this 100 Acts of Sewing. I think you guys have heard of Sonia. I'll put her Instagram link below, but this is one of the patterns that I've wanted to buy for a very long time. This is pants number 1, I think. Yeah. So they had a lot of patterns from people that you read about and you hear about. I've seen some of the patterns online, but it was really nice to be able to see them in person. I also picked up a pattern for a beautiful tote by Noodlehead, which is this one right here. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous bag. And I was very pleasantly surprised. The price on this pattern is actually $9. It's not that bad. And I did not buy fabric for that, but I did find this cut of fabric that allows you to make several masks, and they are actually reversible. So everything's here for making these kind of masks, and on the other side you can make the more square ones. This is so pretty. I love the butterfly one. I mean, I think we'll be making masks for a while still and wearing masks for a while still, so I enjoy the cloth masks but more than the paper ones. So hopefully once I get settled and I can start sewing, because I have a ton of fabric to make bags, I can make some of those masks. I also purchased this bag here. I love that. And then I purchased two cross stitch kits that are from Subversive Cross Stitch. I think you guys have heard of them. I'll show you one but not the other, because the other one's it's got some my kind of language. But here's one of them. I love what that says. I mean, as an introvert, it's sometimes really difficult to be around people. So I really thought that was the perfect one for me. But anyway, like I said, went to Montana, which is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I went to Boston. I am also planning on being at Rhinebeck this year for the New York Sheep and Wool. I'm really looking forward to that. I will be staying with Lady Di Yarns and a crew of people. That should be interesting. And then, let's see, what else? My Etsy shop was due to open on September 1st. I'm now pushing that to September 15th. I have so many new pins to upload to the site. The site right now, the shop is currently on vacation, but it will be up and open on September 15th. Keep an eye on Instagram. I will be posting some pictures. I have a really cute birthday set that I've worked on, which includes an acrylic pin, a sticker, and 2 stitch markers that are perfect. They're going to be the absolutely perfect thing to send to a friend who's having, a yarning friend who's having a birthday. So with that, I will leave you. I'm really happy to, well, I don't see you, but I'm really happy to be here and hopefully read your comments and interact with you. And yeah, pop over on Instagram and see some of the new pins that I'm going to upload. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope your September is full of crafty goodness, and I will see you next time. Bye.